Smash Bros. Is one of those games that when you stop and think, how did it happen? The most family-friendly characters in gaming beating the crap out of each other in an epic shonen anime battle that has evolved to include just about any gaming character and oddball choice. And barring like 5, fans love all of these characters. But Sakurai has said he doesn't know how every character could ever return again. So that begs the question, who will get cut? If Smash Bros. 6 reuses many of the assets, it's likely most will return barring third parties. After all, if cutting a character is actually more work, why cut them? However, everything could have to be remade for the next game, and I will be evaluating with that in mind. Or in other words, who could they get away with cutting? So let's go with Mario and Luigi getting cut. And Dr. Mario staying. No, I don't think Mario and Luigi are ever going to get cut. They're two of the biggest characters in gaming. You can't get away with cutting them. Get back in line, Dr. Mario. No cutting the line. Now, Dr. Mario, I know a lot of people hate him and want him to be cut, but he's really similar to Mario, but also different. He's different enough that I think he probably will return. He also represents an entire genre all by himself that's hard to represent otherwise. And he's a retro character. I don't see any advantage to cutting Dr. Mario. I think he's pretty safe to return, but if they were going to cut, Dr. Mario would be one of the more likely cuts. But it's not going to happen. Probably not, at least. Bowser, I also think, is pretty safe to return. He's the main villain of the Mario series. They could conceivably cut him, but I don't see any advantage to cutting him. Peach is also pretty safe. She has a lot of fans. She's got a unique moveset. Daisy, on the other hand, I mean, it wouldn't be hard to keep her in, but I think they could also just as easily make her a costume, which she basically is a glorified costume. So, I'm gonna put her in probably because she'll return in some form. I don't think they'll completely cut her. Rosalina, if they were going to cut a Mario character, it would probably be Rosalina. She's got a unique moveset. I'll put her. I don't know what to do with Rosalina. She does have a unique moveset, but she's not the most relevant Mario character. But they keep trying to push her, so I guess I'll lean towards her returning. Bowser Jr. is in a similar boat. He's a recurring mini-boss, pretty much. But if they were going to cut a Mario character, it would probably be Bowser Jr. Donkey Kong is not going anywhere. He's one of the original Nintendo characters. There is no reason that they would have to cut Donkey Kong. Diddy Kong, they could conceivably cut, but I don't think they will. He's got enough fans. K. Rool, if they were going to cut a Donkey Kong character, they would cut K. Rool. But I still think he's pretty safe to return. He's a fan favorite. They finally got him in. I don't think they're just gonna drop him next game. But if they were like, we have to get rid of a Donkey Kong character, it would be K. Rool. Link is not going anywhere. Zelda is a beloved series. They are not cutting Link. Zelda also is probably not going to be cut because she's the namesake of the series and has a lot of fans by this point. You can't really represent the Zelda series without Zelda. Sheik, if they were gonna cut a Legend of Zelda character that wasn't a Link clone, it would be Sheik. But Sheik also has a lot of fans. Sheik is a ninja. Ninjas are popular, so Sheik will probably return, but isn't as safe as Link in Zelda. Could you not drive so loud? Ganondorf is also safe. He's the main villain. He's coming back in the next Zelda game. I don't see them phasing Ganon out. Or Ganondorf, I mean. Someone's gonna be like, he's not Ganon! And he's not Ganon. Ganon is the pig guy. This is his original form. But the point is, Ganondorf is pretty relevant. I don't see any reason to cut him. They may give him a few more moves though. A few more of his own moves so he's not a Captain Falcon semi-clone. Young Link is probably going to get cut. He's a character from one Zelda game. A Zelda game that was made years and years ago. And isn't that meaningfully different from normal adult Link? So he's not even hard to say. He's a probable cut. I mean, it's not a guarantee he'd be cut. Actually, it's not a guarantee, but I think he's an extremely likely cut. Toon Link's relevance is starting to fade from what we can see, so he could also be cut, conceivably, but it's hard to say. I guess I'll put him here just so there's someone here, because we're getting kind of far. And we need somebody in hard to say leans toward out. Or cut. Leans toward cut. Samus is not a very relevant video game character anymore. With the delayed game and the remake not doing that well. But Metroid fans are rabid. They're not cutting Samus. Dark Samus, I don't think there's enough effort that it would be really worth cutting Dark Samus. But I think they could conceivably cut her. So she'll probably return, or he'll, or it'll. Zero Suit Samus, probably. I mean, they could cut Zero Suit Samus. So I guess probably. But I don't think they will. Ridley, after all this time, it's kind of the same thing as K. Rool. I don't think they will cut him, but I think they could conceivably. Actually, no, they're not gonna cut him after he finally got in. That would upset too many people. They finally got their Ridley. They're not just gonna cut a fan favorite character. Captain Falcon is pretty much more known for Smash Brothers, so he will not get cut. Yoshi is kind of a dinosaur, so I guess he could be cut, but Yoshi's a popular character. Everybody loves Yoshi. Yoshi's not getting cut. Ness, honestly, both Earthbound characters are kind of... Earthbound's not a relevant series anymore. Unless they do a remake, it's not going to become any more relevant. So both conceivably could be cut, but both are also pretty well known to Smash Brothers fans, so I don't think they would completely cut out the Earthbound mother representation. And since Mother 3 didn't get localized, Ness is probably the safer one. So he probably will return, he probably won't get cut. If they were going to cut a mother character, it would probably be Lucas. But Lucas also has a ton of fans. They brought him back by fan demand for Smash Bros. 4, so he's also probably going to return. Star Fox, Nintendo keeps trying to force Star Fox, so Fox is pretty safe, but they keep doing stuff, it's not doing well. I could see conceivably the Star Fox characters getting cut entirely someday if they don't turn the series around. Because they just keep running it into the ground. Falco's probably the most popular Star Fox character, or fan favorite, I guess you might say. So, I think he's safe. Wolf was also somebody that was pretty popular, but if they were going to cut a Star Fox character, it would probably be Wolf again. Wolf's not as popular as Falco, and he's not the face of the series. Kirby's not getting cut. Kirby is one of the big Nintendo characters, one of the big Nintendo franchises. Meta Knight, they could conceivably cut Meta Knight, but I don't think they will. I think Meta Knight is a core enough Kirby character. Same thing with King Dedede. King Dedede, they could cut him, but I don't think they will. I guess I'll put him in probably. I guess I'll put Meta Knight in probably too, but it's probably. They probably will return. Just not as much of a guarantee as Kirby. Pikachu is pretty much the marketing face of Pokemon. Pikachu is not getting cut. Ever. Unless Nintendo loses the rights to Pokemon. Jigglypuff is a beloved character, but isn't really that relevant of a character anymore. Not even in the anime, where Jigglypuff pretty much got its notoriety to be in Smash Brothers. But Jigglypuff is enough of a fan favorite, I think it's gonna stay. Pichu is also kind of a fan favorite, kind of a divisive character. A lot of people hate him, but a lot of people like me also love Pichu. He could conceivably be cut, but I also don't think there would be that much that they could really save by cutting him, so I'm gonna put him in probably. Mewtwo is another popular Pokemon, so probably going to return. I mean, everybody loves Mewtwo, right? Lucario isn't as popular, but Nintendo keeps trying to push him, so I think he's probably going to return unless they give up on that. Pokemon Trainer is honestly hard to say. I don't know if the Kanto starters will return under Pokemon Trainer, or if all of them will return. I think that's one of the places that they would get some of the easiest cuts for the Pokemon series. So I'm gonna say I'm leaning towards him being cut. I think the starters are kind of hard to say. I'm gonna lean towards yes, returning on Squirtle, because Squirtle, the entire Squirtle line is kind of popular. Ivysaur is not as popular. If they were going to cut one of the starters, it would be Ivysaur and then Squirtle. I think Charizard is likely to return. Charizard is a popular Pokemon. I don't see any reason they would want to cut him. Greninja is, according to some polls, the most popular Pokemon character. Or was the most popular Pokemon character. I'm not sure if it's still the case. I've not looked at the polls recently. But for that reason, I think Greninja is pretty safe to return. Greninja is also a ninja. He has a pretty unique moveset. Incineroar is a Pokemon that's not that liked. Not by the Smash community, not by Pokemon fans. Incineroar was probably the least popular Pokemon or starter in his generation, so he's probably going to be cut. I'm gonna expect him to be cut. He didn't get a warm he didn't get a warm welcome to the Smash Brothers community, and he was kind of an off-tone pick. They weren't really paying attention to the Pokemon fan base when they added him, because he's not even that popular of a Pokemon. They were just hoping that he was going to be popular, so he's probably going to be cut if they decide to cut a Pokemon. Ice Climbers, I mean, they got away with cutting them once, but they are still a pretty popular character that a lot of people like, so I'm going to say leaning towards they will return. But if they wanted to cut one of those older characters, it would probably be Ice Climbers. If they wanted to make the cast seem more contemporary, I could see them cutting Ice Climbers. Mr. Game & Watch, I mean, I know I just said if they want to make the cast seem more contemporary, but he's a unique enough character, a significant enough character to Nintendo's history. I think he's probably going to return. I mean, they could conceivably cut him, but I don't think they'll see an advantage to cutting him. Now the Fire Emblem characters. I kind of want to talk about a bunch of them all at once, because I've heard a lot of people suggest that, or say that they should have added all of the Fire Emblem characters based on classes and had alts. And I don't know if they're going to do that per se, but I think they might do something similar, just to kind of just kind of as a response to the whole there's too many Fire Emblem swordsmen complaints. I could see them taking the Fire Emblem characters and basically making like 3 Lord classes. Or maybe just 2 Lord classes. They might just have like Marth and Roy, and cut Ike as his own character slot. They might kind of take some of Ike's stuff and split it up between Marth and Roy and kind of create 2 characters that are a little bit more different than Marth and Roy are. So I'm going to say Marth is... Well, I mean, Marth's going to return. Marth is the original Lord. They're not going to cut him, probably. And I think that if they were going to have a second Lord character class, it would be faced by Roy. Roy is an extremely popular Smash character. Lucina is going to return in some form. She's from Awakening, is one of the more popular Awakening characters. They're not cutting her. She might just be an alt for Marth if they do what I was talking about, where they have essentially 2 Lord slots that are headed by Marth and Roy, that have Marth and Roy as their faces, and then alternates that are similar. I could see them kind of making Lucina that. Maybe they'll keep her an Echo Fighter. As his own character, Chrom is kind of hard to say. If they don't do what I was talking about, it's hard to say with him. I think if they do that, he's probably pretty safe to return as an alternate for Roy. I think Ike... I could see them having 3 classes, having Marth, Roy, and Ike. But if they were going to do away with one of them, I think it would be Ike, and I think they would take his moves and split them between Marth and Roy. Robin you could do a similar thing with, and he's from Awakening. He's an extremely popular character. They could basically have him be the mage. They could have other alternates like Celica. Basically a whole bunch of mages. Corrin was kind of an out-of-touch pick. He's a unique character, but I think he's probably going to be the Fire Emblem character most likely to be cut. Pit will probably return. I don't know if the Kid Icarus series is gonna really continue, but I think it's still relevant enough that Pit at least is going to return. Dark Pit. I mean, he's an Echo Fighter, so he wouldn't be that much more difficult to add, but I could also see them just making him a costume, because he's really not that meaningfully different. He's not as meaningfully different as Lucina is from Marth. And I still think Lucina could just be a costume for Marth. Palutena probably will return. But, I mean, she's a unique character. They would probably cut Dark Pit sooner than they would cut her. So I guess I'll put Dark Pit and lean towards return, but maybe he'll just be a costume. Putting him down here is not saying that he's going to be completely absent, just he's not going to have his own slot. Snake, he's a third party, so it's really hard to say. I'm gonna lean towards no. I mean, I don't know what Sakurai had to do to get them to get Konami to let him have Snake. But I think it's kind of iffy. I don't think Snake is one of the safer third parties like Sonic. Sonic's gonna return unless Nintendo and Sega get some really bad blood. Wario could be cut, but I don't think they will cut him. I think they might heavily rework him to be more like his classic incarnation, because WarioWare kind of seems like it's dying, and I could kind of see a Wario Land revival. I could see them doing a remake or bringing back that kind of Wario game. Rob is a hard to say character. He's not even a game character. He's just an accessory, and kind of an irrelevant accessory at that. But he's also kind of unique, so I'm gonna lean towards he will return, but he would be a cut that they could make if they wanted to cut him. I don't think there would be that many people upset with him being cut. Olimar, I don't like how Olimar plays. I want to see him cut, but Nintendo seems to really want to keep pushing Pikmin, so I think he's pretty safe to return. I think the Miis are also... Are the Miis really that likely to return? I mean, the Miis are kind of seeming less and less relevant as time goes on, but they also serve a really good role in the Smash Brothers games, essentially allowing you to put any character in with a little bit of imagination. So I'm gonna say, yeah, all of the Miis are gonna return. And now I'm gonna have to zoom out, because I can't see what I'm doing anymore. Little Mac, oh. He's a retro character. It's been a while since he had his last game. I want to say he'll return, but his relevance is also kind of waning. So I'll put him in just probably. They could cut him if they really wanted to. If they really wanted to freshen the roster up with a bunch of new characters, they could cut him and put in... I don't know who they'd put in. Probably some Fire Emblem character or Pokemon. Duck Hunt, I don't want to see this guy ever get cut, but he would be one of the cuts that would get the least complaints, probably. But I still think he probably will return. I don't think he's a guarantee. But I think he has a lot of value to bring back. So yeah, I'm keeping him in probably. Animal Crossing is seemingly as popular as ever, so yeah, Villager, I think Isabelle is also probably going to return. I think there's value to having both Animal Crossing characters. They might even add another Animal Crossing character next game. Who is anybody's guess? Tom Nook. There's a lot of characters. They could add anybody. Wii Fit Trainer has a unique moveset, but is getting less and less relevant. I could almost see them completely replacing Wii Fit Trainer with Ring Fit Trainer, or the Ring Fit character. So I'm gonna say probably not gonna return. They could even reuse a lot of the same stuff with the Ring Fit character. So yeah, I'm gonna leave Wii Fit Trainer there, because I think there's a lot of I think they could keep the same character idea, but have a new character. Shulk, he's gonna return. Xenoblade is a franchise that is getting bigger and bigger, and I'm not gonna say one of my boys is getting cut. They need to put in more Xenoblade characters. Pac-Man, as long as Namco allows it, he's probably gonna come back. Nintendo and Namco seem on pretty good terms, so I don't think he really has a chance of getting cut. But if something terrible happened, yeah. Do I want to put him in probably, in case, just because something could happen between Nintendo and Namco? I don't think that's gonna happen though. Yeah, he can stay in the top tier. Mega Man pretty much has to return. Nintendo and Capcom are on good terms. Mega Man is one of the biggest third parties. It really wouldn't feel right if Mega Man got cut, unless they cut all of the third party characters. Mega Man is arguably bigger than Sonic to the general gaming community. I mean, the Sonic fanbase is big, but Mega Man has more of a general appeal. Ryu is a little bit hard to say. I think there's a lot of reason to bring him back, and Nintendo and Capcom seem on pretty good terms. So, yeah, I think he'll probably return. But I think they could cut him without too much flack. And I think if Ryu comes back, they would also bring back Ken. I don't really see any reason they would get rid of him, because I think he's one of the more different Echo Fighters. I guess that might be a reason that... Yeah, I'll put him in probably will return, or hard to say, but leaning towards returning. But I think he and Ryu are kind of in the same boat. I don't think you would get Ryu without Ken. Cloud, I think, is a probable cut. Square is a very weird company. They only allowed 2 songs. Even in the last game, they only allowed the same 2 songs. So I don't think there were even any other Final Fantasy spirits. So yeah, Square's weird. I think Cloud would be a likely third-party cut out of anybody. I think he would be one of the reasons that if they did reuse all the assets, he would be missing. Because Square is really weird. I could see them being unreasonable for the next game. Bayonetta is hard to say. I think Nintendo's going to keep trying to push her. So I'll put her in hard to say, but I'm leaning towards returning. Inkling, I think, is pretty safe to return. Splatoon is a pretty big IP that has it's not a huge fan base, I wouldn't say, but it's a passionate fan base. And I think it's a fan base that appeals to children, particularly, so I think they have a lot of reason to want to bring Inkling back. Simon... Konami is weird. I'm gonna put hard to say, but leaning towards a cut. Because Konami's just so weird. And I feel like... I'm probably gonna get flack for this, but I think if they were going to bring back one Castlevania character, it would be Richter. I think he has the more international appeal. Simon is just kind of... I don't know how to put it. He feels weird. Like, his design just kind of feels a little bit out of place. Richter feels more like he's in line with the Smash aesthetic. I guess Simon is a little bit too gritty looking, if that makes sense. Piranha Plant. I think they could cut Piranha Plant, but will they? I'm gonna... Piranha Plant is so hard to say. Like, it's such a unique moveset. I feel like a lot of people have really warmed up to Piranha Plant. So I'm gonna say I'm leaning towards it returning. I think Joker would be a third party that they could cut without too much outrage or complaints. And I don't think he's unique enough that they would really have reason to want to keep him. I think if they wanted to reduce the amount of royalties they'd have to pay, he would be one that they would cut. Kind of same thing with Hero. Square's still really weird. I could see Square being really weird next game and wanting crazy royalties or just being like, no, we're not letting you have any of our characters this time. Banjo's hard to say. They may be still... Nintendo and Microsoft may still be on pretty good terms. But I'm gonna say, hard to say, leaning towards they are a cut that could be made, and I don't think too many people would be upset. I mean, people would be upset, but I think they would understand pretty easily. Terry. I mean, Terry's not the biggest character, and I'm just gonna put him in hard to say, but probably going to return. Byleth. I think Byleth is probably one of the more likely cuts, because the reception wasn't good. If they go with the whole Fire Emblem characters having slots, I don't think they would give Byleth a slot. I don't think Byleth is unique enough to get that. What would that be, like a Great Knight? Or what are those units called? The Knight guys that use all the weapons, not the mounted ones, but the burly guys. But Byleth isn't even that slow, so yeah, I think Byleth will probably get cut. And now for the alternate costumes. I guess I'll rank them like if I think they'll return as their alternate costume. I don't see any reason that they wouldn't. Where the heck did I put Bayonetta? I don't think this alternate is any less likely than the base Bayonetta alternate. Same thing for Cloud, pretty much. I think if Ike returns, he's gonna get the the same kind of thing. Why are you so far behind my cursor? Well, that's where I want to do. If they bring back Corrin, they're gonna bring back his female. If Inkling returns, they're bringing back that alt. They're gonna do the same thing for Bowser Jr. if he returns. So I almost feel like I shouldn't really put all 7 of these on here, but I'm going to, I guess, because I already started. It'd be awkward to start and then go back. I don't see any reason that they would cut the Link alternate costumes. I think the hoodie is pretty safe to return. The wireframe, I guess, is a little bit less necessary if you bring back Little Mac. But I still think it's pretty likely. I think it's more likely than unlikely. Now this one, the Galactonite alternate, kind of really just depends on how much they use Galactonite. I guess I'll... Why are you down there? Dark Meta Knight, I don't see any reason they wouldn't bring that back if they brought back Meta Knight. I don't think this one is as necessary if they bring back Pikachu. So I'm gonna say leaning towards no. Because they could do a lot of other unique stuff bringing back Pikachu. Alf, I mean, I don't see any reason that they wouldn't. Where did I put Olimar? Put him up here. I don't see any reason that they wouldn't bring back Alf if they brought back Olimar. It's just more representation for Pikmin without making a Pikmin Echo Fighter, which I really don't want. The Pikmin characters control terribly. I don't even begin to understand how the Pikmin characters are supposed to be played. If they bring back Pokemon Trainer, I don't see any reason that they wouldn't bring back the female version. I mean, if they have Robin as like a mage swordsman class, I could see them cutting the female Robin, because the female Robin, I guess, isn't quite as iconic as the male Robin. Meta Ridley, I don't really see a reason that they would cut Meta Ridley. So, yeah, why would they get rid of Meta Ridley? Female Villager, if they bring back Villager, they're bringing back the female versions. I don't see any reason that they wouldn't bring back that if they brought back Toon Link. I think if they do reinvent Oreo, they would still bring this back, but it would be a lower priority. I think for Wii Fit Trainer, they would bring back the male alternate if they brought back the character at all. I don't think Young Link's gonna return, so that alternate, I don't think it's gonna return. I honestly don't think that they're gonna keep the Felt Yoshi. Why is this on here? I mean, it's just a recolor. Is it? Oh, they have the pot difference. Yeah, they just keep that. They keep that. Now this, why is this even on here? This, I figured out for the Piranha Plant, but why is this Rob on here? It's just like the version difference Rob. Of course, I'm not even putting it on there. If they were to bring back a Joker, they would probably bring back that alt. I don't see any reason that they wouldn't. They bring back Hero. They'd bring him back too. This one would probably be the one that they would be most likely to cut, but I still think they would bring it back. Female Byleth. I don't think Byleth's gonna return, period, so... And yeah, you Rob, get out of here. You shouldn't be on here. So... yeah, I think most of the characters are gonna return. But I think that these would be the characters that if they were gonna cut, they would cut from this selection. Possibly these. And like if they really, really wanted to cut, they would cut from here. But I think these guys are still pretty safe. I think these are more likely to return. And like I said, I do think all of these Fire Emblem characters would return as costumes if they did create essentially a Lord class that was just headed by the most popular characters. Like I think Ike would... Would Ike be... Ike would probably be a Roy costume. So yeah. What'd you think? Let me know if you think some of my safe guys will get cut, or some of my expected cuts will return. Did I not consider something that could affect who comes and goes? I'll have to do a 2.0 tier list when Fire Pass 2 ends. Maybe you can convince me to change some of these placements. Well, subscribe and like and share and take care and have a good day.